Of Tallahassee has embraced the running community, and the scenic gem of Florida State Cross Country will be on full display this morning. Apalachee Regional Park features over 100 acres of unique northern Florida terrain, designed specifically for cross country, with spacious manicured grass runways to trails of crushed shell and sand, all woven symmetrically today for one common goal: to win an ACC championship. You could not have scripted a more peaceful morning in Leon County. Gorgeous scenery in Tallahassee as we welcome you to the 2023 ACC Cross Country Championships. Apalachee Regional Park on a beautiful, crisp fall morning in Tallahassee, the setting for some of the best runners in the country. The moments before a race, the ACC Cross Country Championships. What a field, both the men and the women once again this year, highlighted by 5 ranked teams on the men's side, 5 ranked squads on the women's side as well. So like always, the field is stacked and the drama and the stage set for what should be an exceptional morning of cross-country competition. Moments away from the start of our men's race, and in just a few moments, we're going to swing it down to the start line for the official introduction. Sean Kenny alongside longtime Duke track and field cross-country coach Norm Ogilvie. And you know what this is like, Norm, this moment here, the moments before a race. It can be exhilarating, it can be nerve-wracking, but the drama is there. You spend a whole year preparing for this moment.
Yeah, it's what every runner looks forward to, competing for your college in a cross-country meet. Over time, we've seen the conference meet expand into bigger and bigger teams. We were about 8 or 9 when I started. Now we have 15. Next year we'll have 18. But either way, it's a really exciting moment for the athletes. This is probably the most important meet of the year in many people's minds.
So let's dive into the team race. And last year, NC State won their 7th consecutive title on the women's side. They'll be looking for their 8th straight championship today. On the men's side, a little bit more wide open. Wake Forest won it a year ago, but boy, they took a hit to graduation. This is going to be competitive today.
Yes, there's 5 nationally ranked men's teams as well. I think 4 of them could win the title. You're looking at Syracuse, UNC, Notre Dame, Virginia, all with shots at winning the ACC team title. Wake has 2 great individuals, but probably a little shy on winning it all.
Racing fans have had the opportunity to watch a generational talent in Caitlin Toohey for NC State. She'll look to defend her title, while for Notre Dame, Carter Solomon used that late kick last year to outsprint Parker Wolf to an ACC championship.
It was a great finish. Only problem for Notre Dame is Carter Solomon hasn't had a super fall yet. He finished 3rd and 4th man respectively for them in his 2 meets. We'll see. You know, he may be dead ready for this one, though. And Parker Wolf is fabulous. Yet even Parker Wolf has had challenges. He lost straight up to a freshman from Wake Forest, Rocky Hansen. And he might be an unbelievable freshman. He could win it. He could win it. And then another Wake guy, Luke Tawal, beat Parker Wolf in the 5K at the NCAA outdoor meet. And Tawalt has incredible range. He's run 151 for 800. He's run 29.22 for 10,000. So he'll keep the Deeks up there along with Rocky Hansen. So I say 4 guys could possibly win it as an individual.
We start with the men's race coming up in just a little bit. When we come back, we're going to break down this course specifically designed for cross country. There aren't too many in the country that do that, but that's the situation at Apalachee. One of the ranked teams on the men's side as they are ready to roll along with the rest of the ACC field. Welcome back to the ACC Cross Country Championships here at Apalachee Regional Park in Tallahassee. And Norm, we were talking before the break, this is a unique course specifically designed for cross country, one that runners always enjoy to come and compete in.
Yeah, there's been some great meets held here. They're going to have the World Championships here in 2026. They had the NCAAs here just a couple years ago. This is their second time hosting ACCs. Bob Raymond in 2008 brought this course into fruition. He had been thinking about it years before that. He's always been excited about the potential of this park. It's a great course because it starts out on manicured grass like we see here, slightly downhill at the beginning, and then you go through a bunch of loops and you finish in front of a bunch of spectators. It's a great spectator course. They have special paths cut through to allow the spectators to access as much of the race as possible.
You mentioned Bob Raymond, the head coach for Florida State, excited to host the ACCs. First time they've done that since 2015. Here's his thoughts on what the runners can expect.
Oh, it's super exciting just for us to host. And it is a park, but it's basically a designated cross-country course. Haven't hosted since 2015, so real excited to be back hosting ACCs.
We love it out here. This is our home course. We take a lot of pride in it. The girls know it really well. It's beautiful. It's perfect. We train out here, so it's always a good day when you can race on your home course.
You know, the one thing, you talk to a lot of runners and competitors, coaches such as yourself, the idea that keeps coming back is the traction and the support, you know, for the ankles and the feet. This is a real friendly course in that regard.
Yeah, if you look at just the last couple of ACC meets, 2 years ago when we were in Notre Dame, rain was the story, and there were lots of puddles on the course, but it was super flat, and they were able to get away with it. Last year, we were at Charlottesville, where the NCAs will be this year, and that course has a lot of undulating hills and sideways sections where the runners have to twist. It's tough on the ankles. This course is really what a runner would like to see. It's because it gives you both good footing, but also some challenges with long hills. At Virginia, you had a couple of short, steep ones. Here, you have one long hill that you have to repeat 2 or 3 times over the course of the race. So, you know, it really makes it tough for teams to fake their fitness.
You take a look at some of the runners to watch. Syracuse, one of the favorites. Brian Bell has a loaded team headlined by Perry McKinnon and Paul O'Donnell. Keep an eye on Parker Wolf for North Carolina, the runner-up a year ago. The defending champion from Notre Dame is Carter Solomon, and then Gary Martin. Many people feel Vin Lanana and company. He's poised to make his championship run this fall right now today.
Yeah, Gary Martin has incredible stats. He's just got real leg speed. He can run 147 for 800 meters. He's run 356 in the indoor mile. That's the UVA indoor record. And he was an unbelievably great high school runner. This is now just his sophomore year.
1 minute.
It's about a minute to go now till race time. This is where the nerves are at its absolute highest. Once the gun goes off, you're usually fine, but it's this last minute that's very agonizing. And, you know, like you said before, you put in all this time training, getting ready for this, and now you're down to the final minute, and you look across the line, you see all these talented guys. I'm so impressed by the track credentials of all these programs. You know, we haven't really talked much about Syracuse. Syracuse, if you're going to pick a favorite, probably is. They're ranked number 4 in the country. And they have, I counted in their lineup, 5 guys who have broken 29 minutes on the track for 10K. That would usually be a bona fide NCAA championship type team. Unbelievable.
Speaking of unbelievable, it's just absolutely gorgeous in Tallahassee. 67 degrees. That is a runner-friendly temperature. Very light breeze, dry conditions over the next couple of hours. It's been dry as well the last couple of days in Tallahassee.
The weather is good right now, but it'll warm up a lot in the next half hour as the sun rises higher here in western Florida.
It is one of the great sights, the start of a cross-country race, especially when you have that backdrop here at Apalachee, the 2023 men's competition for the ACC Cross-Country Championship officially underway. And you take a look at that wide, spacious area, one of the advantages of this park.
Yep. Bob Raymond wanted this park to be able to host the NCAA championships, and to do that, you have to have a clear 800 meters at the start that can accommodate all the runners. Now, this field is basically got 15 teams and 10 runners each, so you're about 150 runners, where the NCAA would have about 255. So there's plenty of room to run a conference meet on this course. Now, you go downhill a little bit after the initial minor asset from the start, and you can see now they pull away from the start line and head into you can see the swamp moss hanging down the trees. It's got some real southern charm, this course. And here we see a Florida State runner out early. That's Malarkey. He's from South Africa. Great runner for the Tar Heels. Parker Wolf right with him. And there's Luke Tawal, who we talked about. Luke Tawal, definitely a guy that could win this. He was key in Wake's team triumph last year, finishing 4th. Maybe something people don't know about Luke Tawal, if they don't follow the sport of track and field quite as closely, is Luke Tawal beat Parker Wolf head-to-head in the NCAA 5K out on the track in Austin this past June. So you're looking Parker Wolf, Luke Tawal, Carter Solomon certainly as the defending champ should be in there, Gary Martin, Malarkey, and some of his Florida State teammates will certainly feel strong about this course as they run on it a lot.
Luke Tawal, the junior from Washington, D.C. He was a top 10 finisher last year, part of Wake's run to an ACC title. Had a great relationship with the graduated Zach Faccioni, always asking Zach for advice. The two runners were training partners. They were close friends really ever since the spring semester of Tawal's freshman year. Faccioni returned to the States after spending the first couple of months during that COVID run back home in Australia. The two would train each and every week, at least 70 miles of training a week for 2 years. And now with Zach Faccioni gone, it's up to Luke and some of these other younger runners for Wake to try to carry on the legacy. And one of those younger runners in the middle of the pack now is the talented true freshman Rocky Hansen for the Demon Deacons.
Rocky Hansen was the top ACC finisher just 2 weeks ago at the Nutty Cone meet. He has a good chance of being the top freshman in the country this year, certainly the top freshman here in the ACC. But there's others that are really good. Again, when I look at the track times of these athletes, the eyes really pop out on how far the ACC has advanced in recent times. See Parker Wolf right in the center of it in the UNC uniform. To Walt, to Wolf's immediate left. Malarkey to Malarkey to his right from Florida State. And he's got Ahmed. I think that's the two brothers. It's hard to.
That's Ibrahim out there right now for Florida State. You see Parker Wolf along the rope on the inside. He has taken over the lead. Ibrahim just to his outside. Wolf, the ACC runner-up, took 7th a couple of years ago and was the ACC Freshman of the Year. As you take a look at some of the splits and the team standings very early on, Virginia with their pack running, Notre Dame, Syracuse, North Carolina with Wolf leading the way. But going back to Parker Wolf this year, he took 7th at the Nutty Comb. He was 2nd at the UVA Invite back on the 23rd, and that brought in some traditional heavyweights like Northern Arizona, Colorado. Wolf turned in a 23:21, which was a great 8K time for the month of September, and as a result was the ACC Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, Wolf is as tough as they come. Coach Wiltenberg, who was a mentor at Stanford back in the day, we'll be seeing Stanford in this meet next year. But he said that Wolf is as good as any of the athletes he coached at Stanford in terms of his desire to win. And the results speak for themselves. Look at these NCAA finishes Parker Wolf had just last year. He was 9th in the NCAA cross country, he was 5th in the NCAA indoor 5K, and he was 5th in the NCAA outdoor 5K. Remarkable consistency, and he came so close to winning the ACC cross country title last year. Only Carter Solomon put paid to that.
Florida State off to a good start here on their home course. That is Ahmed Ibrahim, the junior from Portland. And then no relation, you have Abdirizak Ibrahim, who transferred in this year from New Mexico, and you join the likes of David Malarkey, the freshman from Leeds, England, who has been up near the front since the start. That's a pretty good trio right now for Bob Brayman and the Seminoles. Coach Brayman, the second longest tenured coach in Florida State athletics right now. And what a job he has done, not just in cross country, but also the success and the tradition of Seminole track and field.
Yeah, Bob's done a great race, and he just is so happy to have turned Apalachee Regional Park into a cross-country haven. Malarkey is still near the front. He ran 13:37 for 5K on the track last year. His best ACC finish is 5th at the ACC Outdoor 5K, which he did last spring in 13:53.
And we were both impressed with Malarkey at the Piani this year, where Florida State actually powered all the way up to a second-place finish, and Malarkey was a 23-24, headlining the Seminoles in South Bend.
Yeah, they were real good in South Bend. A couple weeks ago, though, when they came back at Nuttycombe, Malarkey again led the way. He had a great race, ran 23:45, but then there was a big gap to their second, third, fourth, and fifth runners. And there's a splits at 2.2K. Malarkey's still leading just over Ian Harrison of NC State. Brett Gardner of NC State also in the top 4. But the five-man spread for the Seminoles exploded to 121 at Nuttycombe. So they have to do a better job with their depth today if they want to be anywhere near those top 4 teams. Tewalt still up there. And NC State trying to make a bid. You know, talk about longtime coaches. Raleigh Geiger of NC State has been in Raleigh a while.
Took over the men's and women's program in 1981. 4 decades of coaching for Raleigh Geiger, and he certainly has to like what he sees here from his senior Brett Gardner. He's a veteran, one of the leaders for NC State. He has a sub-24 time this year, one of 2 pack runners this season to clock a sub-24. 2-time All-ACC performer. Of course, we're used to watching him in the steeplechase, also part of the great NC State DMR indoor squad. And right now, after taking the outdoor track season off this past spring, looking fresh, and he has sprinted out to the lead in this men's 8K.
Speaking of leading, though, you've got 3 Seminole runners up at the front now, Malarkey and the 2 Ibrahims. So they've got 3 guys in the top 5 early. But there's so much running still to be done. Not even up to the 8-minute mark yet. And now a Wolfpacker into the lead. Malarkey, Parker Wolf, Tewalt, all still right up there. And then you see all the green, the Kelly green from the Irish. The Notre Dame, I see all 5 guys there in the top 12 or so. They may be leading this team race at the next match split. A lot depends on where Florida State's 4th and 5th men are. You see Gary Martin and a couple other calves up front as well. They're looking like they're running well.
So our next check-in as far as splits go will be at the exact halfway point, the 4K marker coming up as you take a look from overhead. Different type of textures on this course. They're now back onto that manicured grass area. You saw that white-colored ground, which is crushed shells and crushed sand, very friendly for runners. And now the gradual ascent upward. There's a couple of gradual hills on this course.
That's right, and they're sneaky, you know. No one hill's real that tough, but it has a building effect. And in the very last stretch of the course, before they head home on the last straightaway, there's a real tough hill, and that will really sap you if you going out too hard early on. The cross country is a lot about measuring your effort, so you kind of empty the tank at the finish line, but not before it. And as we saw in so many previous ACC races, it usually comes down to a kick. Very rarely does somebody power away when you have so many talented distance runners like we see here in the ACC. We got another Tar Heel up there.
Brett Gardner of North Carolina State having an outstanding race.
Brett Gardner of NC State in the lead. These highlights from the state of Illinois. Illinois had long been the Notre Dame bastion of recruiting. A lot of Notre Dame runners that are really good from there. This year they have Josh Methner, who's from Illinois. In fact, Gardner probably finished behind Methner on occasion in the Illinois State meet. They're not the same age, but they definitely are up.
Making a move on the inside. First time we've seen Alex Phillip. He's the graduate student for North Carolina. You see him right along the inside, along the white boundary line. Phillip in his first year in Chapel Hill, graduated from John Carroll University, where he was a 2-time Division III men's cross-country athlete of the year. In fact, Division III national champion back-to-back in 21 and 22. And just the 5th runner in Division III history to win back-to-back national titles, and now dipping his toe in the ACC waters for the first time, and he is right up alongside his teammate Parker Wolf, as both sandwich the Seminole in the center with Malarkey.
Phillip was not only a Division III champ in cross-country twice, he also was the Division III 5K and 10K champ on the track. So he's a winner, no question about that, and a really great acquisition through the transfer portal for Coach Chris Miltenberg. Phillip, on top of that, has a 28:31 10K PR. The number of guys in this race with sub-29-minute 10K PRs is quite staggering, to be honest.
Phillip is an interesting story, and like many athletes, no matter what the sport, he just wasn't sure of his future. In fact, he almost did not run in college. He grew up in Akron, Ohio, and was very close to just going to Akron to be a normal student, but he rediscovered the passion of the sport in his senior year in high school at St. Vincent St. Mary, and I'd say he made a pretty good decision. His Division III success, and now looking very strong as the 4K splits come in. And it is Phillip leading the way as you take a look at the top 18. The defending champion, Carter Solomon, in that number 10 spot, but Wolf and Phillip each at 11:39 flat.
I think the biggest move of importance to this team race is Syracuse has now gotten their two guys right up there. That's O'Donnell and McKinnon from Quebec. He was a transfer from Cornell. And O'Donnell's been with the Orange for a while. He was second at the ACC Outdoor 10K last year, and he was the ACC Indoor 5K champ out of the slow section back in Louisville. So those are the two biggest guys for the Orange. They need to get their third, fourth, and fifth man up a little closer to the lead. Three heels right near the front, though. Things looking really good for UNC at this point.
Yeah, that third Tar Heel to make his way, maneuver his way up near the front is Ethan Strand, the junior out of Vestavia Hills.
You know,
it's kick. You know, when you look at Strand, always known for a late kick, and he's in a pretty good position out by himself on the outside alongside two teammates.
When your third man is the defending ACC champ in the 1500 outdoors and the defending ACC champ in the 3000 indoors, you've got a good team. That's why they're ranked 11th in the country.
And we were both there. Remember his kick to win the 3000 in the indoors this past February?
That's right.
So a really good start for 11th ranked North Carolina. Chris Miltenberg, year number 5. Norm talked about it. 7 strong years on the West Coast with Stanford and his trio of Wolf, Phillip, and Strand. As North Carolina fans believing a little bit more past the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, Carolina looks good. Again, the question is, where are the 4th and 5th men? But we are approaching 5 kilometers in a little while. Let's see, now we're back on that hard-packed dirt and shell base. And this is where they start a downhill section before they begin the uphill. Here's some of the other 150 runners that decide the team race. There's another UNC runner. If he's their 6th or 7th man, they're okay. If he's their 5th, that's not a good sign. There again, UNC 1-2, Syracuse right in there with their top guys. Florida State still has Malarkey, but it looks like the 2 others have dropped back. Tewalt still mixing it up.
5K splits coming in. Phillip a 14:35.2. Malarkey second on those 5K times. Talk about the pace and what you're seeing so far.
We're seeing roughly 440 miles, about what you'd expect. Last year, it was lightning fast for the Charlottesville course. I think this race is a little more tactical only because there's so many guys you have to respect. It's hard to run away from so many guys that have run so fast on the track. I mean, you know, cross country is its own sport, but those track credentials, you know, people know what they are, and it very much is a psychological thing. If you know you've run X amount of time on the track, it's a lot more valid in runners' minds, I think, because they know 400 meters is 400 meters and it's flat. And times on different courses across the country can really vary a lot. UNC, though, 2 guys to work together. Syracuse has 2 guys to work together. Virginia, we see Gary Martin, and he's got a teammate to work together. So there's the 4 teams that we expected going into this race to be factors. They all have a pair of runners near the top. Florida State, who we did not expect to be in the factor of the team race, has only 1 guy at the top. So it's playing out as we thought.
And you might have noticed there before they made the curve, that's the steepest part of the course there as they come out of the canopy of trees and now will break clear of the trees and work their way back onto the grass.
Yes, this time they'll go behind the start line one final time. On the final loop, they'll just head in towards the finish. So one more loop. Essentially, it's 2 3K loops and a final lap of 2K. So this is that final lap of 2K that they are on right now.
Syracuse with a couple of runners up near the front. That's Paul O'Donnell, the redshirt senior from Dublin, Ireland. He is on the outside just to the right of Parker Wolf. O'Donnell here in 23, an All-American in the outdoor track season in the 10K. 28:42 guy during the track season for O'Donnell. Had a ton of European experience before arriving to compete for Coach Brian Bell a couple of years ago.
And there you see, when they come around next time, they'll be on the left side, going straight to the finish. But this is the last of the loops that go a little bit wider. There's the Seminole logo on the manicured grass section of the course, and there you see the awards stand for post-race ceremonies. So UNC still 1-2. Syracuse still in there.
McKinnon.
Gary Martin hanging in there for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, it looked like Martin wanted to make a move to the outside, but now he slides back in comfortably within striking distance for the sophomore from Pennsylvania, Archbishop Wood, who set the UVA freshman record in the indoor mile this year, a 3:56.82. Virginia just had that plethora of runners go sub-4 in the mile during the indoor season.
Luke Tewalt has dropped off. He's more like now in 10th, 11th place. So now the guy with the best kick in the lead there is the guy just off the pack there, the guy in the glasses, Gary Martin. He's got that 147 speed. So if he can hang in there, he's got the most dangerous kick. But Parker Wolf looks like he doesn't want to let that happen. And I think they may have just dropped Martin. So it looks now like it's down to Syracuse, the 2 UNC runners. Malarkey's still hanging in there. So the orange and the heels, as we expected, running near the front. Parker Wolf looking the best so far. I think we just went past the 6K mark there. Yes, that would have been the 6K mark where that flag, where that white sign was. Wolf still looking good. Nice smooth strides, good arm carry, but O'Donnell is in pretty good shape as well.
Parker Wolf looked like he might win an ACC championship a year ago, and then Carter Solomon up that last uphill climb, storm from way back to claim the title, and you can bet Wolf has had that on his mind the entire year as he has went through training, has had a fantastic fall season, now trying to cap it off here as he has taken the lead. O'Donnell to his right second, Florida State's Malarkey third, and then Wolf's teammate Phillip sitting fourth, with the orange coming in on the outside fifth.
Parker Wolf, will he do what he did last year? He tried to put a surge in on that final uphill on that course, and he's got the final uphill section right ahead here. He knows he needs to break some of these guys with the better kicks. And you got to think that Malarkey is believing that he's done this course more than anybody, and that he's got belief instilled in him by Bob Raymond that he can do it. But I think Wolf is starting to pull away just a bit. He's got a full stride on everybody else now. O'Donnell in second. Wolf, O'Donnell, Malarkey, Phillip, your top 4. Wolf, if you remember, last year got a decent enough jump on Carter Solomon, but could not close it off. So O'Donnell looks like he's in really perfect position, running off of Wolf. All the pressure's on Wolf. And now we go to the drone shot overhead. Show you exactly how close it is. I mean, O'Donnell is right on Wolf. They've opened up a gap of at least 5 meters on 3rd and 4th. There's your 7K team split. So just 1K to go. North Carolina up by 13. Syracuse in 2nd. Virginia in 3rd. Notre Dame in 4th.
What do you expect to see here from O'Donnell in this final K as you see Wolf clearly with plenty of gas in his tank?
This is the big uphill right here. See, now see Wolf's really going to his arms. O'Donnell has to stay close, and I don't think he's going to. I think Wolf is trying to open it up. Here's the steepest part of the hill right now. Wolf looks like he can put this away. Look at this.
He has opened up his lead significantly on that final uphill swing as he gets ready to make the turn. Parker Wolf, last year's runner-up, looking for his 3rd straight All-ACC performance. The 2-time All-American for UNC. Boy, he has plenty in the kick here today.
Yeah, O'Donnell's not going to pull a Carter Solomon here. Wolf has got this. He is now in full flight, and there's not that much of the course left. Can O'Donnell hold on for 2nd? And can the other Orangemen close in on the, say, 4th and 5th runners for the Tar Heel? Because I think UNC is going to not only win the individual, they're going to probably win the team as well. A great day for Chris Miltenberg and the Carolina men.
Parker Wolf bringing it home. So close a year ago. Wolf sprinting his way as he gets ready for the final few strides. The finish line in sight, not to be denied here in 2023. Parker Wolf, your ACC champion from North Carolina.
Just a tad over 23 minutes. Malarkey's going to get 3rd after O'Donnell. Phillip 4th. So
McKinnon 5th.
Yeah, I think UNC's looking great for the team title here. There's a couple of calves. There's
the line.
4th man for UNC right there.
For the team battle, keep an eye on Notre Dame. They have 4 athletes now coming in the top 20. Here comes Syracuse.
Here comes some of the depth of Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish will have 4 runners appear to cross inside the top 20. So there's the balance we knew that Notre Dame had coming in.
But I think UNC already they have 3 in the top 9, and I saw the 4th guy come in, so UNC will trump that, I think.
There's a good look at your ACC champion, Parker Wolf, a 23:03.10, the ACC champ.
And Lawler of Syracuse.
Take a look at his year this fall. He took 7th at the Nuttycombe, 2nd back in late September, got pushed by Northern Arizona, Colorado, ran a 23:21 back in September, and now his clocking good enough for a pull-away win here at the ACCs.
Syracuse was actually the first team with 5 in. Notre Dame was the 2nd team with 5 in. So a little premature to pronounce anything yet, but there's still a lot of 5th runners that have not crossed the line yet. But it looks like it's going to be extremely tight between Syracuse, Notre Dame, and North Carolina. Parker Wolf talking to his teammates. There you see 48 for North Carolina, 63 for Syracuse, 76 for Virginia, Notre Dame 83. And Florida State with a surprising 5th if these points hold up.
So I hung off Gary and Will. Anthony.
Parker Wolf wins an ACC championship. North Carolina with balance. He gets a little help from Alex Phillip and Ethan Strand, both all ACC performances. We'll chat with the Tar Heels. The men's 8K in the books. Parker Wolf is your ACC champion. 23:03.1 for Wolf. O'Donnell of Syracuse second. Malarkey, who was up near the front, really from the opening gun. David Malarkey third, Florida State. But look at that. 4 runners in the top 9 for North Carolina, headlined by this year's ACC champion, Parker Wolf, who now joins us. And Parker, take us through the final few strides compared to last year for you, your mindset coming in.
Well, last year, got out-kicked with probably 400 to go, so all that was going through my mind was just pump the arms, pump the legs, and hopefully it'll take care of itself.
You look great out there. So that Colorado training help you out in a situation where you have a lot of hills?
I mean, I think, yeah. Once again, right. I mean, I know we've raced courses like this all the time in high school, and it's a bit different since we're training, low altitude and training in North Carolina, but it's got to play a little bit of a part, I'd like to say.
Talk about your role models growing up. I know your mother ran track and field. Where did you develop your passion for this sport?
Honestly, just had a bunch of friends do it. I was going to go out for baseball my freshman year to high school and decided to do cross country in the fall because I didn't have anything to do, and my teammates were just awesome and, kind of stuck with it since.
Speaking of your teammates, how about the job that Alex and Ethan, they were pushing you up pretty much near the front the whole way. You bring in the transfer Alex from John Carroll. It looked like a pretty seamless transition for him, welcoming him to that powder blue for North Carolina.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got, a couple guys coming in, Jake and Alex, and I don't know what I would have done this race without him. He's pushed me. I mean, the goal from the beginning was, work together, and man, without him, it would have been a lot tougher of a race. And, having, guys I trust behind me, like Ethan, Colton, all those guys, like, makes a huge difference knowing that even if I'm not having the best day, they're going to back me up for that team title.
Well, enjoy the moment, Parker. Congratulations. What a day for North Carolina cross country, the Tar Heels, and yourself, ACC champion.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We will.
We'll be back with more from Tallahassee and the 2023 ACC Cross Country Championships. For anybody who has followed the sport of men's cross country and track and field, you knew that there was a resurgence in Chapel Hill, and today it hits its peak. North Carolina, your team champions, 49 points, Syracuse second, Virginia third. The main orchestrator is Chris Miltenberg. Year 5 in Chapel Hill, had so much success on the West Coast at Stanford. And first off, Coach, you have brought success to North Carolina. What's this moment feel like for you to win the ACC title?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, mainly the way these guys did it, in a total team effort and a clear vision over the last several years of where we want to get to and where we want to keep going to. So, yeah, it's a really, really exciting step for us.
Coach, you've successfully gone to the transfer portal. We knew Alex Phillip was doing great things for you. How about the role of Jake Gebhardt today, coming in from Indiana, a steeple guy?
Yeah, Jake was fantastic today, getting up for 9th. And, I think we've got a great combination of the 2 grad transfers, and then we ran 8 guys today and 6 really young guys that have come up in our system too, and they've come together perfectly to form a great team. And definitely without those older guys, Alex and Jake, coming in and helping our young guys, we don't get here. But also these young guys have been steadily coming for the last 2 and 3 years along the way too.
It seems like you've really done a good job with the overall chemistry of the team. Congratulations.
Thank you. Really exciting, really proud of these guys and just getting started.
Coach, one final question for you. Let's talk about your leader, Parker Wolf, and the training that he has put in this season to lead to a moment like this. A runner-up a year ago, and he had plenty in the gas tank today on that final kick to pull away from the field. What type of runner, what type of leader has he been as you rebuild and have the success that you've enjoyed at North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, Parker is an absolutely fierce competitor, and I think what he really did for our team was show how high this can go. and remove a ceiling that maybe we felt in the past. It's like, no, we can run with anybody in America. And you see that trickle down effect from Parker to the rest of our guys. And, he's been an ACC runner up several times between cross country, indoor and outdoor. So it's great for him to finally get one, and hopefully many more to come too.
Well, the day is his. The day is yours. Enjoy it. North Carolina, your ACC champions. Parker Wolf, the junior from Denver, Colorado, celebrating with his teammates. Commissioner Jim Phillips will join us from Tallahassee as the Tar Heel Nation celebrates. Apalachee Regional Park, Tallahassee. First time the ACC Cross Country Championships have been in Tallahassee since 2015, and it did not disappoint. The men's competition in the field, North Carolina prevailing. The Tar Heels winning their 10th team title in men's cross country. Parker Wolf, your individual champion. And look who is in Tallahassee. Right off a plane from Blacksburg last night, it is the ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. And Jim, so great to see you. Another busy fall championship stretch getting underway with cross country.
So excited to be here. Sean and Norm. Really want to thank Florida State University for hosting the County of Leon. I mean, what an incredible course this is for our men and women who've had a great year. I mean, with 5 teams ranked on the women's side, 5 teams ranked on the men's side, 10 All-Americans running. And you saw just a great race. Congratulations to North Carolina. Just a tremendous effort by their team.
Jim, you have correctly noted we have 5 men's and 5 women's teams nationally ranked. I guess that's not enough for you, so you're bringing in Stanford next year, a perennial national powerhouse.
It is, Norm. We're excited about the additions of Stanford and Cal, who have both men's and women's cross country, and SMU, who has women's cross country. They're going to add to the very best conference in the country's cross country performance. And I know our coaches are excited. Our student athletes are as well. It provides 2 new markets for us in the San Francisco Bay Area and the Dallas-Fort Worth. Cross country is a growing sport, and it's wonderful, I think, for us as a league to add these 3 schools starting next summer.
Jim, as you well know, you hit this part of October and we start to move into championship season. No better place than Tallahassee to kick it off today, but talk about where you're going to be heading after this weekend.
Well, Sean, you and Norm follow closely. No conference has had more success over the last 2 years, 16 national championships. Really proud of our young men and women. We're in the heart of the fall sports seasons. We have 6 teams ranked first or second. Our football performance has been off the charts with 4 ranked teams, with I think another 3 or 4 that are right on the cusp of being ranked. I was in Blacksburg, as you mentioned earlier, in our interview last evening, here in Tallahassee, headed up north. I'm going to sneak in a little personal time. I have a daughter that plays soccer at Yale, and Yale and Harvard play tomorrow night. But before that, I'm going to go see Boston College play football against UConn. So the commissioner is on the move, and really honored again to represent the conference here at our first ACC championship in 23-24. And again, just an exciting start to the year, which I think will produce even more national championships, we hope.
You know, Jim, you talk about all the talent in the ACC, and in coming up, we're going to see a generational talent in Caitlin, too. We can't wait to watch the Wolfpack women as they are moments away from starting. Thanks for stopping by our booth. We appreciate the time. Always great seeing you.
Great to see you both. Thanks for all you do for this wonderful sport. Take care.
ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips on site in Tallahassee. The ACC Cross Country Championships, and North Carolina State, part of the field, the 7-time defending ACC champs, looking for another. Apalachee Regional Park here in Tallahassee. Just a beautiful course. It's one of the few designed specifically for cross country. Well, don't forget Sunday, the ACC Women's Soccer Championship gets underway with first-round matches at 6 and 8 Eastern from Cary, North Carolina. Tuesday, the field hockey quarterfinals begin with the semifinals on Wednesday. Coverage starts at 1 Eastern both days. ACC Network, the official home of the ACC Championships. Well, speaking of championships, this is a group that knows how to get it done, whether it's in the fall in cross country, the indoor, outdoor track season, their depth, their distance runners, one of the best in the country in NC State. I mean, you just take a look at that lineup, and they are loaded, headlined by maybe the biggest name in women's cross country, Caitlin Toohey, leading the pack, the three-time All-American in cross country, the national champion from a year ago. And keep in mind, this is her third ACC championship in cross country. Her freshman year, she jumped into the fire at the NCAAs, did not compete at the ACC. Sean Kinney alongside longtime Duke coach Norm Ogilvie. Great to have you with us. And this is an opportunity for fans just to sit back and really enjoy what we're watching, what Lori Hennis has done with NC State in particular with Caitlin Toohey.
You just saw in that shot of the huddle, Lori Hennis was smiling ear to ear. A lot of times you see coaches in the huddle, probably me included when I used to do it, feeling nervous, uptight, and clamoring, pleading with their guys to come through, or gals. But she's pretty relaxed. You can tell that. That's because the Wolfpack have won a bunch of these. I think 7 under Hennis and a bunch in a row, and they couldn't be more confident. Now, last week, when they were in the Nutico meet in Wisconsin, they did get beat for the first time. They didn't lose a single meet last year. But one of the reasons was Toohey was edged for first, but by Parker Valby, who was the 5K champ. Here's the course. I don't expect NC State to worry too much. As we pointed out before, the Worlds are going to be here in 2026, and the NCAAs were here just 2 years ago. Now, the women run 6K instead of the 8K that the men. The men basically did 2 3K loops and a 2K. They just do 2 3K loops. So one less trip up the big hill is the main difference. But, you know, same good footing with the grass. There's the finish line. It's a good course, good fair course. It's going to favor NC State, I think, even more because it does test you with those multiple long gradual hills. It's not just the Toohey show, though. You've got her teammate and best friend, Kelsey Camille. She won the ACCs just a couple years ago when they held it in Notre Dame. You have Samantha Bush. You have a trio of freshmen, Leah Stevens, Grace Hartman, Hannah Gapes, who all have really strong resumes they bring into this competition. Toohey herself has run 19:08.9 for 6K.
We caught up with NC State. Their thoughts on trying to win an 8th straight ACC title.
We always talk about we're not defending anything. It's, you know, not whatever happened in the years past doesn't matter for this year. So they've just been focusing on getting better each day, working together, trying to tighten up that, you know, gap from 1 to 5, 1 to 7, the same things that we're always kind of focusing on at this point in the season.
We just got to keep doing what we're doing. We have a lot of upperclassmen running as well as a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, so we have a good mix of experienced and unexperienced girls, so nothing's changing.
Two-time NCAA cross-country champions looking for their 8th straight ACC championship today. And you look at the bigger picture, Norm, as you take a look at the dominance that the Wolfpack have inflicted on the rest of the conference, but they will be looking for a three-peat a little bit later this year, looking to become the first team to do it since the great Stanford teams from 05 to 07. And then you go back, way back, Villanova won 5 in a row from 89 to 94. So that is how special this group has been the last couple of years and continues to do so moving forward.
Absolutely. And even with that minor setback at Nuttycombe, losing to Northern Arizona, they still have such experience. You got to like them at the NCAAs.
Runners into position, and we are underway. The 6K for the women's championship of the ACC cross country. NC State ranked number 2. Notre Dame ranked number 8. UVA with Vin Lanana 10th. Syracuse 28th. Duke in at 30th. 5 ranked teams here in this postseason.
UNC was exactly 2 points out of being the 6th ranked team. They finished just back of Duke and Syracuse at Nuttycombe. So really 6 teams in this thing that are national caliber teams. They all could end up in NCAAs in a couple of weeks. Wolfpack out well. There's a Florida State runner at the front, and you got to expect that on the home course, just like in the men's race, that they're going to have somebody. It's probably Allison Churchill. She has 4:13, 1500 speeds, also run 15:53 for 5K. She was all ACC in both of those distances. She is solid. But the team race, again, we totally expect it to go to Florida State. Notre Dame was most likely the second toughest group. They've got the two Markozich sisters, Andrea and Olivia. They have a top freshman in Gracie Shager, and then two juniors in Erin
That's
Strzelecki.
Chisholm of Notre Dame, your leader.
And I was just about to get to the other junior, Shona Chisholm, who is in the early lead. Shona Chisholm's run 4:55 in the mile, 9:04 for 3K, and 15:37 for 5K.
And Chisholm, the junior from Nova Scotia here in 2023, made a statement at the Piani, placing 5th. That was her home course. ACC Outdoor bronze medalist. We watched her for the first time this past spring, where she finished 3rd in the 5K. Attended St. Francis Xavier University before Notre Dame. Was the school's record holder in both the 1500 and the 3000 meter. And in her first ACC cross-country championship, the junior up near the front for Notre Dame. And you talked about the Markozich sisters for the first time running together in the same colors of their school. Andrea transferring in to be with her identical twin sister Olivia, who ACC fans are very familiar with, coming off an NCAA steeplechase championship. But Andrea, coming in from the Pacific Northwest, started her career at Washington, ran 4 good years for Washington, but wanted to be back with her sister, and now an opportunity to share that light today.
Yes, Notre Dame dominating the ACC outdoor steeple last spring in Raleigh. Olivia Markozich winning that steeple gold. Her 9:17.9 steeple is the number 2 all-time collegiate in that event. And as you know, steeplechase is probably about as convertible to cross-country as any track event. In fact, steeplechase has been termed plastic cross-country. We saw the Tar Heels get the steeplechaser on the men's side from Indiana, and he ran a brilliant 9th place finish in the men's race just a few minutes ago. So we expect Markozich to be perhaps one of the few runners that can break up that Wolfpack pack at the very end.
It's really a neat story with Olivia and Andrea, the identical twins. And Andrea was out for rowing her freshman year at the Bear Creek School, but saw how much fun Olivia was having running cross country, so she decided to go out her sophomore year. And Olivia Markozich, one of the runners to keep an eye on, obviously with NC State, Tui, Camille, and Sam Bush, and then Syracuse with Savannah Rourke. Those are some of the individuals, as we go a little bit deeper into the morning, to keep a tab on.
Here's our first split of the morning. Chisholm, as you see, leading. This is about 1,200 meters. It's about 3/4 of a mile, 3:40 pace. So they're running just under 5 minutes at the mile early on here. You see Duke leading the second 10. And then you see Margot Appleton of Virginia. She's the top hope for the Cavaliers. Great runner on the track for Virginia. Chisholm, Chewy, and Markovich, the top 3 early.
A lot of different schools represented through the first 1.2K. Duke's Matug, the junior from the Netherlands, had a great outdoor track season. She's Duke's marquee returner, all ACC performance last year. She placed 4th in Charlottesville, a 1941.80, trying to improve on that. Went on to place 28th at the NCAAs, but clearly she'll be the one responsible for carrying the torch for Duke in this race.
Yeah, she's got a couple teammates that can help her, but yeah, she has to finish well for Duke to get anywhere near the top 3 or 4 teams. If they do that, though, that's going to greatly enhance their chances of getting an NCAA selection out of the Southeast region. So that's the subplot in both the men's and women's races, is that they're running against different regions. For example, Notre Dame is from the Midwest region, where NC State, Duke are from the Southeast. But when you can beat someone from a different region, that'll help you. There's the coach from Boston College, Peter Watson, on the sideline, exhorting his athletes. And is this a Miami runner out early, I believe?
We talked about it throughout the course of the morning. Such a spectator-friendly course. Coaches are able to get very close to these athletes. You saw the communication a few moments ago. What was your strategy as far as picking the spots to communicate with the runners?
Well, you just want to get to them several times. In a course like Notre Dame, a couple years ago, we saw a lot of coaches grouping in places where they could be heard best. So in other words, where the spectators weren't, the coaches went. Here, there are special pathways cut between sections of the course so the coaches can go back and forth. So you'll tend to see a lot of instructions given at the same place. Right now, if I was the Miami coach, I'd be a bit worried about my instructions to this lead runner. We've seen her before on the track, but she does not have anywhere near the credentials of the main pack. Tui's sitting comfortably in there. She's not too worried. Here comes a split. I think this will be a 2.2K they're crossing right now. So, you know, Tui's got it all under control. I'd be shocked if this Miami runner is still leading at the end. It's Daphne Lavassis. Again, she's run 1,500 meters on the track. I don't think she's done anything super significant at the longer distances. Clemson also with a runner up at the top. We don't expect her to be there either, but there they are, Tui and Camille running right in, tied for second and fourth position, and then you got Chisholm and Markazich for Notre Dame.
Good look at Daphne Lavassis, the junior for Miami, had a good outdoor track season for the Canes. And Jamie Dean placing 8th in the 5,000 meters, 16:13.27. She has sprinted out to the early lead. NC State just waiting to make their move. They are the team leader, 45. Notre Dame, as expected, second. Then you see Virginia third, Mattoog headlining Duke, and UNC a distant fifth, but a lot of race still to go.
Absolutely a lot of race still to go. If the Duke women finished fourth, they'd be elated. But there's plenty of time for these other teams to move up. If you notice, there was not a single Miami mention in the top 9 team scores. So our leader is doing this all on her own. Now the hills come into play here as they go on the uphill portion of the course. They'll do this twice. And you see Mattoog now up along with Churchill from Florida State and the Wolfpack top 3. And I think Wolfpack 4 and 5 are not too far back. So NC State, as expected. And there comes Tui to take control of this thing. She's going to take the lead here. And the Miami runners' moment in the sun is almost over. But Tui now going to the outside. And Stevens, the freshman, in there for NC State.
That's Caitlin Tui making the move from Stony Point, New York. She's won a national championship in 3 sports. She has set national collegiate records, just continues to perform, 21 years old, running in her 3rd ACC championship. Go back to the 2020 year, she opened up her cross-country career at the NCAAs, where she was the top freshman finisher at the NCAAs. In fact, the only freshman All-American in 2020, and obviously the story has been written and what she has accomplished. Huge fan base, the senior, the defending ACC champ, the only person to beat her in this event, her teammate and one of her best friends, Kelsey Camille, did it in 2021.
And she had a perfectly unblemished fall last year and won early this season. Again, had that rare defeat at the hands of Parker Valby, University of Florida, at Nutty Cone. But Parker Valby is the NCAA Outdoor 5K champ, so no shame in losing to her. I think it will fire up Tui to new levels. She just has to time out her efforts. So even today, she doesn't want to be at her best. She wants to be at her best in 3 weeks, when the Wolfpack will presumably return as a team to Charlottesville for the NCAA championships. That's another advantage Tui has. She's got experience on that course at Charlottesville, which Valby probably does not. I don't think they went to that early Virginia meet. Tui looking good. I'm guessing that Coach Hennis has, after a long year last year, has tried to concentrate on training in the early part of this season, and she's not sharp quite yet, but I expect she'll be at her very best at NCAAs. And again, highly motivated. See Allison Churchill of Florida State sticking her nose in there. The Clemson runner's still hanging in, so maybe she's going to run the race of her life. We'll see. But NC State looking good as they head down that little downhill stretch. The finish line is on the back to your right. And now they're going to start to curve around as they get a little further into this loop 2 of 2 main loops of 3K.
Here comes Kelsey Camille, the senior from Saratoga Springs. Camille in high school was a rival of Tui, both New York natives. Camille was Saratoga Springs, North Rockland for Tui, and those two have become best of friends. In fact, it was Camille who was one of the guides when Tui was making the decision of where she wanted to run collegiately. It was the tour that Kelsey Camille gave her, one of the very first trips to Raleigh, and those two have been tied ever since. And right now, those two shoulder to shoulder carrying the load. And you see the youngster, this is the blending of youth with some of the experience. That is Leah Stevens on the inside. She's a freshman out of Maryland, running in her third collegiate race.
She was just 9 seconds back of Camille at Notre Dame, so she is capable of being up there. Leah Stevens from the great state of Maryland. And now we see Anima Matug trying to split up the pack a little bit. You've got some tremendous runners up here at the top. Tui, Camille, Stevens, Matug. As they stay to the outside, again, doing that same 3K loop twice. That turnoff you see to the left was the turnoff for the final loop of the men. Here comes a split map. This should be 4K.
So we will see these 4K splits start to pop up. NC State 1-2, Clemson 3rd, Duke sitting 4th, Stevens starting to fade a little bit. She's dropped back to 6th for NC State, the freshman.
There's the splits at 4K, 13.7 flat for Camille and Tui, and then Gladys Chebnikich of Clemson right in there, and as we said, Matug as well. Churchill of Florida State in 5th. Appleton of Virginia has moved up. Notre Dame has fallen back. There you see third woman for NC State, Leah Stevens.
Grace Hartman also in the top 10 right now for North Carolina State. Hartman, the sophomore, super freshman as far as making an impression on Coach Hennis. And she talked with local media leading up to today about the impact and how much she has been impressed with these young freshmen and redshirt freshmen who have been performing so well. And getting a good look at it here up close in Tallahassee. NC State 25, no surprise. Notre Dame 2nd, Virginia 3rd. Your top 3 teams through the 4K split.
Yeah, pretty much as we expected. Notre Dame's dropped off a bit, but they're still obviously running better than any other team that's not named NC State. Now Matug has moved into 3rd. Again, she was 4th last year, so she's looking at potentially her highest ACC finish. This is only her 2nd ACC meet. She's originally an 800-meter runner from the Netherlands. Came to Duke, and they started moving her up in distance. Started with cross country last fall, then she went to the 3K, and then ultimately the 5K outdoors, where she finished super high at the NCAAs in the 5,000 with a 5th place finish there.
NC State 1-2, Duke 3rd. Haven't talked a lot about Margot Appleton. She's the junior from Virginia. She's moved into the 4 spot, had that big outdoor season, took 3rd at the NCAA championships in the 1,500 meters, the reigning 1,500 meter champion in the ACC. She She's a distant fourth right now. The talented Clemson freshman starting to fade a little bit as they hit this compact sand crushed shell type trail underneath the canopy of trees along that back side of the course.
We've got about 3 minutes left to run. That means we're going to be hitting that strong uphill, long, slow uphill stretch. And I think it's just begun right there at that curve. And now Matug looks like she wants to challenge Camille for second. And I think Matug looks pretty good. Appleton, as you said, continues to move up. So it's Tui, Camille, Matug, just about even with Camille. And then Appleton a little further back in fourth. That's, I believe, the 5K split. No, we've already seen the.
Yep, that'll be the 5K.
That's the 5K.
Split
Yeah, it's the
up.
5K split. They just crossed. So they're learning low 16s for 5K up at the front. 16:19 for Tui, 16:20 for Camille. Matug 1/10 back at 16:20.1, and then you see another 5 seconds back to the rest of the pack. Tui looking comfortable. We expect she's going to assert her dominance here, especially on this uphill stretch coming up. But a really interesting race for the runner-up between Matug and Camille. And Matug has moved into second at this point, but don't count out Camille. She's won this race before.
Caitlin Tui, one of the more recognizable faces on campus in Raleigh. She will stop in between classes. She will sign autographs, and she's talked about it in dealing with the stress of really being tabbed one of America's great up-and-coming runners, you know, as she looks to compete internationally following her days at NC State. Got a taste of it this past summer where she took 7th at the USA Track and Field Outdoor Championships in Eugene, second straight year that she's run the event. And now as she heads up the hill, Caitlin Tui takes a look back just to see the type of lead she has. Dukes Matug second, trying to close the gap. Camille starting to fade, but now Caitlin Tui looking to defend her title from a year ago and add yet another chapter in her legacy that she's going to leave behind at NC State.
She's going to leave behind quite a legacy. And Matug looks like she's got second place wrapped up as well. They're pretty close to the finish now. This is the last stretch, and we are almost there to see Camille get third. Tui gonna win. Congratulations to her. She is what the NIL is all about. A few years ago, she would have left NC State to turn pro early, but because of the NIL, she can stay where she trains with her coach, gain confidence. It's a perfect setup and still earn money from her NIL.
It is a sight that never gets old if you're a fan of NC State. Caitlin Tui, a generational runner for our fan base. The final few comfortable strides as she is going to win yet another ACC championship, the reigning NCAA champ.
She looks
few
so
strides.
good.
Yes, she does.
Well, that's I think the benefit of every once in a while taking an L, because it motivates you for your next few journeys. Tui showing she's really good. Eased up finish. Congratulations to her. And a great race, a career race for Anima Matug of Duke with her runner-up finish. When you only lose to Tui, it's not too bad. And Camille with the bronze.
Fifth place will go to Appleton of Virginia as she sprints across the line, as you get to see the other all-ACC runners come across.
Churchill of Florida State finishing 6th in her home course. The Clemson runner hanging on for 7th. And some more NC State runners coming in. I think those are their freshmen. Tui, Matug, Camille, Marquez of Notre Dame, Appleton of Virginia, Churchill of Florida State, your top 6.
19:22.80, the championship time for Caitlin Tui. Another ACC title. NC State, just a force to reckon with here at these ACCs. We'll get some more sights, more sounds. We'll talk to the ACC champ Tui when we come back as the Wolfpack roll in Tallahassee. For the 8th straight year, NC State has won an ACC Women's Cross Country Championship. For the 2nd straight year, Caitlin Toohey is an ACC champion, and she joins us moments after racing to another ACC title. And first off, Caitlin, congratulations. What a race. How's this one stacked compared to last year? You defend your title successfully. Anybody who knows this sport and has competed in it knows it's tough to defend a title, but you did it today.
Yeah, every year is special. Last year we had a little bit of a scare on the team side. This year we were able to pull it together. We knew pretty early that we won. But yeah, we've had a really good season, a lot of good workouts. We just haven't really put it together all on the same day yet. So I think we were pretty close today. It wasn't perfect, but yeah, it was pretty exciting to go for another title.
Caitlin, this is Norm Ogilvie. Very rare for a team effort to be perfect, but I tell you what, your finish was amazing. You seemed under control the whole way, and then when you went up that final long hill, you just pulled away so strongly down the stretch. Is your speed work where you want it to be at this time of year?
Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive downhill finish. So, yeah, even though you're really tired, you're able to get the legs moving a little bit. So, Virginia will be the complete opposite, nice little uphill finish. So, yeah, we'll have to work on the speed.
Speaking of Virginia, you look to defend your NCAA title. Talk about your preparation the next couple of weeks as you get set for that run.
Yeah, nothing really changes. We'll continue to crush workouts as a team. Go in with the team in mind. Be really grateful for everyone who helped us get to that starting line on that day. So we'll be racing with a lot of gratitude, and yeah, we're going to give our best effort for each other.
Well, Caitlin, another great job today. We have enjoyed watching you compete. Best of luck at the NCAAs. NC State, hugs of gratitude and appreciation for one of the sport's best. We'll continue to hear from some of the Wolfpack runners as our coverage continues from Tallahassee. North Carolina State, 37 points for the 8th straight year. They win the Women's ACC Cross Country Championship, just blowing away the field. Notre Dame second. Virginia moves up to the number 3 spot. The Cavaliers will return to their home course for the NCAAs. That's next up along the path during this championship time of the year. And what a day of racing in Tallahassee. Beautiful course, some fast times, some tremendous talent. And Norm, just as we reflect back at the past 90 minutes, your initial takeaways as we head to the NCAAs.
Well, I think Toohey looks fabulous, and I think Parker Valby can't take anything for granted, that's for sure. Toohey looked great. Obviously, the Wolfpack team has done a great job, as usual, with chemistry when they have some great freshmen mixing it up with the veterans like Camille. And Samantha Bush had a nice race today, which is excellent to see. So I think they're in great shape. And looking back at the men's race, Parker Wolf, fabulous. So I mean, I'm so impressed with both those programs and how they ran today. So I think the story's about the winning teams on both sides.
North Carolina captures the program's 10th men's cross-country title today, while for NC State, they just keep adding more titles as the Wolfpack celebrate another ACC championship. That's a wrap from the 2023 ACC Cross Country Championships. Again, congratulations to our winners, Parker Wolf, North Carolina, and Caitlin Toohey for North Carolina State. For Norm Ogilvie and our entire ACC network crew, this is Sean Kinney saying so long from Tallahassee and the ACC Cross Country Championships.